Evil computer will record. I have with me Theresa Mather, is that right?
Yep.
And you can actually lower the microphone, you have to eat it. It
Okay.
actually will pick up them talking too, so.
Oh, good.
In the paint gallery, and this camera is aimed at me, so there's kind of a picture-in-picture thing going on.
Okay.
How are you today?
I'm just fine.
And what brings you to good old Salt Lake City? I hear you're from Cedar City, so.
Yes, it's a 3-hour drive. I'm the artist guest of honor at Conduit.
And what type of artwork do you?
I do fantasy painting, mostly in acrylic, and I sell it across the country at science fiction conventions.
You also sell it online as well? Or?
Actually, the conventions buy pretty much everything I can produce, so we don't really push sales online that much. I'm doing 7 conventions this weekend. A lot of the conventions accept mail-in art for the art shows. So I'm showing simultaneously at 7 conventions across the country, and I did 3 last weekend.
Is there somewhere here that I could take my camera and take some photos of your work?
I have art in the art show.
Okay.
And I also have a website online. It's rockfeatherscissors.com.
Rock, feather, scissors, kind of like the rock, paper, scissors
Yep.
kind of thing. Awesome. And what's your best influence in your art?
Oh, I love illustration from the 1800s. And I did some antique carousel restoration work before I pursued genre art full time.
And how long have you been painting, illustrating?
Well, since I was tiny, but I quit my day job 10 years ago this month.
I congratulate you for doing that.
Thank
actually.
you.
I always have to ask if someone is a full-time artist or a full-time writer.
Uh-huh.
Because I'm a full-time nerd. Have a desk job, and I do this. So I don't know from one person to the next. And sometimes when you ask someone, is this your full-time job, they look at you like you're crazy. Of course it is. This is how I put bread and butter on the table.
It took a while to transition. It took several years of working an evening job, actually, that I worked in the evening so it didn't interfere with my painting time during the day. And when I finally made enough money, I went on a leave of absence from the night job, and then I ended up not going back. And that worked out nicely.
That's great that it worked out.
Yeah, I'm very happy. I'm not a good employee. I'm too contrary, so it's probably better for everyone.
Who's your boss, supervisor, and manager now, though?
Me.
Yeah.
Well, and my husband, Barry Short, does all the matting and paperwork for me, so he keeps track of the business stuff for me at this point, so it allows me to paint.
Is that good-looking guy over there you keep staring at?
Yes, it is.
Both hands.
Yeah.
That's cool. I consider myself kind of an artist because I have to come up with some really crazy news, and we have skits and so forth. And I know that it's a whole entire process, almost like a second life. And when you sit down with paper and pen or paint and paper, do you already know what the picture, the illustration is going to look like?
I try and get a general idea in my head, but I'm fairly prolific, and part of that is not having a totally set idea in my head. That I'm always open to changing it or compromise while I'm working. And if I try and pursue an exact thing that I have in my head, it would probably take a lot longer, and I'd probably just end up frustrated. So I kind of, roll with the punches when I paint. I do a lot of freehand painting, and I don't do a lot of preliminary work. So it turns out how it turns out.
Well, I don't think there's anything wrong with that either. Sometimes we all get caught up in the details of the work and become a perfectionist. And when we start hating it, it's more like a job rather than something to have fun with that actually you make a living off of.
Yeah, and I like painting. I like the process of painting. I really enjoy creating things. So for me, it's more about the process than the finished product, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and from what you're saying, you're getting just as much out of it as the person that's going to make a purchase.
Yeah, and I produce a lot of work, and I'd rather have it being enjoyed by other people. We don't keep a lot of my art. If I'm behind on a deadline, it goes in a box and gets sent off anyway, so we don't keep
So you don't
keep
have
my work.
like, every room of your house? With
No, I have other people's art. I collect other artists' artwork.
Well, strange. An artist doing artwork.
Uh-huh.
Go figure. It wouldn't be an artist collecting Legos or anything. Oh, I don't ever endorse brands. That plastic toy. This has been really fun, and I appreciate your time. And I know you're a little nervous, and I am too when I meet new people, because
But I'm a hermit most of the time.
you're a hermit.
Yeah, I'm busy painting. I'm usually either by myself or around tons of people at conventions, so there's no in between.
You're not too far off the beaten track with me either, because I work full time, and I
Uh-huh.
come home, and I'm in my nice little shelter, and I know two of my neighbors, and I've been in the same place for 5 years. Because I'm doing something for like this, or I don't write like a book. I write blogs and
Mm-hmm.
rhetoric and all sorts of silly stuff. So it's interesting to see other people's process in the work, and I hope I get a chance to get some pictures of your work.
Okay. All right.
Thank you for your time.
Well, thank you.
It's fun.